Hello! So, last time we got our character going like this, but what we haven't got is proper textures, because at the moment we just have this, which, not very great. The issue that we are going to come across is that if we go into UV editing, select our character, do Alt-H to bring everything back. I'm going to turn on screencast keys to make it easier for you to see what buttons I press, and then select everything. This is currently our UV mesh. For obvious reasons, that's not going to be acceptable because we couldn't possibly texture any particular part on this. We have no idea of knowing which part the face is, and if we actually select this loop, you can see that this loop is actually just down here, all in a single dot. We don't want that. So, there are a couple of things we're going to have to do. First of all, I'm going to hide this, and I'm also going to hide all of my lights. And go back into layout. I'm going to start organizing these a little. So I'm going to rename this one to body, rename this to eyes. I'm also going to hide the eyes, and then we've got the mouth, which I'm going to rename to actually teeth, and I'm going to hide that one as well. Now we just have the body, and we can fix one of our issues, being that our eyes don't currently have an inside. So I'm just going to select that loop, go into wireframe, extrude it out, turn off the proportional editing, and then we're just going to fix this. Just adding in sort of an inner eye socket where the eye will sit in the side. And then I'm going to go on to that, close it at the end by merging its center, pulling it forward a little. Cool. Now if I have a look at that, that'll work fine. And if I bring the eyes back, you won't see any of it. And I do want to make sure that the eyes fit inside it, at least roughly, just so that it doesn't have any weird issues, because the eyes are going to be semi-transparent. Brilliant. There we go. Now we have some eye sockets. And next thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to add in an extra loop around this part of the eyes, just so that gets a little bit thicker, as you can see there. And I'm also going to bring this bit up a little. Oh, sorry, this bit down a little. Just have a check on that. Okay, so I can just see where it is. Bringing it down just so that it doesn't go inside of the eye socket. And it shouldn't make a difference to that part of the mouth. It doesn't. Good. Because that part of the mouth all goes back here. Good. So, what we need to do now is we're going to get rid of the mask because we don't need it. Turn off the subdivision modifier so it goes all nice and crumply. And we're actually going to apply the mirror modifier. Perfect. Actually, thinking about it, we can keep the mirror modifier on, but we'll just do the unwrap when it's not applied. So, because we don't care about the inside of the eyes, we are going to select the inside of the eyes. I'm going to go over to UV editing so that I can actually see it. And I'm going to put an unwrap on here. Mark seam. And over on this one, UV sync selection, just so that it helps me to see where I've selected. Next up, I want this part around here, which will decapitate the head. I'm going to move this cursor down. That'll decapitate the head. So I'll mark that seam. Next up, we're going to want to take the arms off. So there, but I think I actually want it around this one, which goes around a little nicer. There we go. So I'll mark that seam. And similar for the legs here, except I want it to not do this way. I want to go this way. And, ooh, maybe not. Maybe we go instead. Take that one. Yeah, this should work. And then bring it under here. To connect up there and get rid of that bit. Perfect. So we'll mark that as a seam. we also may as well take this part off here, mark that as a seam. Around the base of the hands should just be a full loop around. It is, mark that as a seam. Around the base of the feet as well, we're going to do the same. It's like one higher than that, I think. Mark that as a seam. Perfect. We're probably going to need to be able to go up and down the leg, because at the moment the leg won't cut in half. So I'll take one line that goes all the way down. But I don't want this bit here. I'm actually going to turn off the mirror just for ease of looking. And I don't actually need to go up the center of the leg, unless I want to. I don't think I do. And I can deselect this bit too. Just make sure that this goes along fine. And under the bottom of the arm's fine, but I don't want it to go on the hand. So remove it from the hand. I'll mark that as a seam. And if I unwrap it now, we should get a slightly better result, but still a little bit messed. And where is this bit? So if I select these parts here. Okay, so that's the back. So what we need is a part here connecting it to the neck. So that's what we'll do. And I can actually also move these over because that looks a bit weird. I think I'm going to take this one here up to the neck, mark that as a seam, unwrap that. So slowly we're getting it more disconnected. That's what we want. The hands and feet areas are still all something we need to work on. I can take this bit and this bit, because that'll be the face area. So I mark that as a seam. And also should take a loop from around the ear. But if I'm taking that loop, I think I should take this line and mark that one, clear this seam, and instead go up and take this seam. Because then I can take the full loop around the back of the ear, like so. So I'll mark that seam. I'm going to quickly bring this in, just because I feel like that looked a bit weird. Now we'll unwrap this. Let's see what this part's from. The hand. Okay, so we need to make loops around the base of each finger, which is slightly awkward because of the way I did the fingers. So I'm just going to get in, take a good view of the fingers and the hand. And if I select that as a loop, I need to be on edge select to mark the seams. I also need to make sure I can cut the finger up in half. We'll unwrap again. Okay. So I will probably, I think I need actually another loop in here anyway. I'm going to add that one. And if I come down here, I don't really want to cut the fingers in half. I just want to open them. So if I take this one. I missed two. So if I mark those, now unwrap. I can work with that, I think. Brilliant. So these bits are going to be awkward. So if I select this line, and I want to be able to see through it. Brilliant. Do I go? Yes, I think I do. Up and around the finger like this. Then mark the seam. It's just a case of going around each part of the finger now and getting all the bits you need to close the mesh. This bit can take a while, but it is worth it, because without it you can't even do any textures really. You can still do some procedural textures with the generated, but we don't want to do that. We want to be able to texture paint. So mark seam. And we've only got to do 1/2 because it's mirrored. And then once we've done it, we are done. Never have to touch it again on this mesh. Okay. Almost done here. We'll have to do the exact same on the small toe, I'm afraid. The toes, I'm afraid. Though they don't matter as much. Not that they don't matter, it's just that we'll do another unwrap. There's still going to be issues here. If I select it, let's see that what we need is a full loop that goes around all of those fingers like that. But then we don't want it anywhere else. So I have to actually go through and remove it from everywhere else. Luckily, that's quite easy to do. So I want it to stop at that line, go all the way over and stop at that line, and then mark seam. And that should now, although it will split the fingers. What's this piece? Is that the foot? No, that appears to be the ear. See, so we're going to need a loop around the ear just to separate some of that. So I'll mark this seam. And it's going to need something to connect it up, which I should actually do at the bottom. Let's mark that. So I need something separating here as well. Mark seam. And I should have something on this side of the hand as well. Mark seam. Just making sure that we don't have anything that looks weird and stretched out or anything like that. So let's check what this is. I see. So this is the inside of the ear, which we couldn't care less about. So I'm actually just going to cut this piece off from the inside by selecting the pieces around here. Select this one, and then the pieces at the bottom. Okay, so it looks now, although we do have some smaller pieces, that should be that piece. Yeah, it is. So we have a few smaller pieces, and that's fine. Got, assume this is a leg. Yes, it is. This will be the torso. This will be the head. The face. Arm. And back. Now, what we need to do is we actually have to apply this mirror modifier. Just make sure that it's still connected up. It is. Now we need to select it all again and unwrap. Nope, we need to undo. Get that half again, because we haven't done the toes. So, if I select this foot, let's turn off this mirror modifier again. You can see the foot here clearly not working. And the eye socket, that doesn't really matter, so we can ignore that and actually just allow that one to look bad. This one's going to be a lot easier. That's good. Because we didn't want much detail on the feet. Because we aren't one of those people. The only annoying part about these feet is that they have lots of overlapping points. Other than that, we can work with this quite easily. But I just have to make sure I shuffle the line around a little every time to make sure that I got it. Yep, mark seam. Last one. And that one seems perfect. Perfect. Unwrap. We'll need a line that goes up to meet the top, so we'll take this one here. We'll mark that seam. We'll want one on the other side as well, I expect. And we'll take this one here. Actually, we should... yeah, we'll take that one. Now unwrap. So we've got lots of smaller parts now. I feel like the foot probably needs another line, but if I add that one, it goes all up the side and we don't want that, so we will not put in another line. We'll instead take these lines on all of them. Just the toe. Mark seam. And unwrap again. Just check what this is. That's the ear. And okay, so that being an ear, then that makes sense. And I think we have no particularly weird parts now, which is very good. What's this? At the outer part of the ear. It's also fine. Connect underneath. Okay, now I think we are done with that. We're going to now hit the mirror, apply it. Select everything, unwrap it. Now we should have a full face, like so. And I only want the pieces attached. Brilliant. So now we've got that, now everything will become a lot easier. So all we have to actually do now, and if I move this over, oh, yep. So the face is going to be the most important part, so we're actually going to make this part bigger. And this is, what's this part? Let's check what it is. Okay, so it's the left leg, so we'll put it on the left of the texture just so it makes everything easier. Just attach that. I'm going to put it so it's the right way up. And we don't really want to accidentally sort of make sure I'm trying to get this roughly evenly spaced. Cool. And this will be the other leg, I expect, but we'll check it just to make sure. Yep, right leg, perfect. We'll put this one over here. And let's check what this is. I think it's the chest, but we shall make sure just in case. And yes, it is chest, and it's got the top part of the neck. And the part that goes underneath there. So it should need to be this way around. Scale it up, because it is a fairly important part, but we don't want it to touch the head, so just a little bit bigger than this. A little bit smaller than this. Perfect. Next up, what is this? So that's the back of the head. So this part's not that important. It's still semi-important, but because this is mostly going to be clothed, and actually might be worth me actually doing a quick cut here. Let's cut from here, 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 and here, and exactly the same on the other side. Mark seam, and then, because I don't want to unwrap the whole thing now, I'm just going to unwrap this piece. Unwrap, and this piece. Unwrap. Okay. Next up, let's check what this piece is. Back of the head. So this is mostly going to get covered with hair. So this is going right down. Getting out of the way. Because we don't want to put too much detail into something that is going to be hidden for the most part. So this is going a little bit bigger, as you probably noticed. This can actually come... Don't want to pull it weirdly. This can come down a little. Which will allow this to get a tiny little bit bigger. Perfect. So this is the back. Again, not as important as the front, but not completely pointless. So I can probably fit this just above here. And I'm going to have to make sure to be able to get at all these different parts. So check what this is. Foot. So I'm not a foot fetish person. So these feet, I'm actually just sort of drop them. That's the left foot. So I'm putting this over here. What's this? Arm. And left arm. So this goes over here. Where's the right arm? This right arm? Yes, it is. Here, other way around though. And I do want it like that, which means I need to move this a little. And we'll position all these little things in various different places as we go on. So this one, I'm gonna slot this nicely into this spot here. And this is a foot, and it's a right foot, so it's coming over here. Don't care too much about the foot, so I'm dumping it in the corner. And this is finger. Which would mean all of these are fingers. So let's find out which fingers are this part, this side of the hand. Not this one, not this one, not this one, that one, not 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 that one. Where are the other fingers then? Oof, let's hide this. So that's a hand on the right side. So what I'll do is I'm going to just dump all of these over here for a second. So I'm going to work out which fingers are which side. And I think it was this one. Nope, this one. There we go. So I'm just going to put all the right hand ones over here. Just to make sure I got them all. Okay, so I want this piece. Yeah, and then those two together should make the full hand part. Yep, perfect. Nope. So there's another one. Yes, I'm aware that this sort of UV texturing and stuff can get very boring to some people. And it will depend heavily on whether or not you can stomach this kind of thing, really. Don't know what those do, but we'll find out. Okay, so we want this one, that's a thumb for this hand. Cool, so we want this one. So we want this one. Move that here quick, just grab all of them at once. This one. Nope. 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 It's only the top of the fingers we've got here. Should mean if I select this, hide it, it's this hand, this hand. That one's not. This hand. This one. Okay, so this one we want. So there should be 2 of these for each one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a hand. That's all the fingers. Thumb. Both hands. Perfect. So next up, I am going to just sort of organize this a little. So got. If I select this piece, that's the middle finger. So I'm going to put this one here, middle bottom, and this is the little bottom. I'm going to rotate this around the other way. Okay, and this one is the, oh, that one's not the little bottom then, that's the one here. And this one's the little bottom. This can be very tedious, I apologize. But it's important that you get it, or it's something that will just drive you insane later on. And the more sort of attention to detail you put into these bits, the better it'll be for you overall. And that's the top of that finger, so which one's this? This is the bottom. So put that one there. That's the top. So now that should be one finger. Next finger. Perfect. And that's the thumb, which I'll get out of the way for now. So that's the top of this finger. That's the top of this one. And that'll be the top of the last one. Perfect. Now let's also cramp these in nice and close. Try and leave as little space as possible, but enough space to allow a small bleed effect with the textures going slightly over the edges. And then we'll dump this on the side. Doesn't need to be this big. Brilliant. Now we just select all of these, like this, and put it on the side that we want. So I'm going to dump it up here. It doesn't need to be this big, but I can actually just rotate it to make it fit there. So we'll do that. Bring everything back. And I'm going to re-hide these bits because I have to get at these small parts. What's this? That's an eye, and I suppose that one's an eye too. Perfect. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to write right down and dump it in this socket part here. Same for this one. Right down. Just dump it in this socket part here. They just don't matter very much, so there's no point making it big. And there we go. That'll do. Yeah, no point putting effort into the bits you can't see. Okay, so that bit is the left foot. So for now, I'm going to hide that. We want this hand now, which should be a lot easier to find. Okay, so this will be a bottom finger. So to make it easier for me in a minute, I'm going to rotate bottom fingers this way. Nope. Is any of this a finger? Okay, so that's not. But this is, and that's also a bottom. This is a bottom. So essentially any bottom fingers I'm just going to have facing down. Any top fingers I'm going to have them facing up. And then it should make my life way easier later on. And that's actually a top, my bad. And because I've noticed this one earlier, I can actually put that as a top of this one. And that looks like a top. Also the top. And that's the second to last one, so perfect. It's the top on the first one. That's a bottom on the second. In which case, what the hell is this one? That's middle. Okay, so I put that one in the wrong place. This one moves over. May as well make these line up nicely. Perfect. So put this one here. Here, and then we're just missing this one, which is the third one. It should be the top. Which means this one should be marriage finger bottom. Perfect. No, let's find the actual hand and the thumb, which should be this piece. Perfect. Done that, done that. Which of these? None of those. None of those. Ha, so it's this piece and this piece. Perfect. Now we've got this hand. Bring everything back again. And decide where we want to put this. So if I quickly select not that piece, not that piece. Perfect. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, and then we can bring it over here. Doesn't matter how it's orientated, so just about something like that. Let's select these pieces, find out where they belong. And they are the toes. Let's just work out which ones are which. I am not going to organise the toes as much as I organise the other, just make sure they're on the right side. Although the toes are probably a lot easier, so... Wait, I got the wrong leg going on here, haven't I? Okay, so this actually has to move somewhere. I think we might have to make the head a little smaller. Bring it to about here. Dump this piece back in here. Let's get it down a little. And this piece back in here. The reason for bringing it down is because I think I'm going to have to bring this smaller. Bring it up. Bring the back piece even smaller. And dump it in here. And I use this space for filling up some other stuff. Actually, I don't know. Can I keep that here? I think I probably could, and then I could bring the arm into here. Scale it down, but I need to make sure I scale both arms together. And put the arms in these. Put the arms in these bits. There we go. And I can put the body up here. Brilliant. So now, just to make sure I've got the right side. And find out what these bits are, which I assume are the inside of the ears. Yes, they are. Again, these parts don't matter. I'm just going to dump them down here. It's 1 foot. Where's the other foot then? It's over here. So I've done that over here. Just select this, hide this. Which leg is which? Okay, so I want this side. Okay, I've actually got the wrong way around. See, this is why I am constantly checking. Can I fit anything else in that gap? I probably could. Do that in a minute. Select this one. Put that one up here. Perfect. And then make sure that I've got the right arms on each side. No, I don't. Swap the arms over. I just seem to have completely just randomly picked sides and just dumped stuff everywhere I wanted. how I managed to do that, but I did. So, just to make sure. So, okay, so the right hand side, if I go like this, that'll help. And I can just match it. So, I'm on toes now, I believe. If I just go on the front and I just remember it's the opposite. Okay, so 1. I'm just getting a good view so I can actually properly see the feet. Okay, so this goes on the right, left, left, which means these should all be, oh no, that was not, left, so now these should all be, nope, that one's a righter. Okay, so this is the one that's not. Okay, so we've got 2 feet on one side, 1 foot on the other. Let's have a look. Let's find these other feet. Okay, so that's another oh, no, it's not. Let's hide this. These, I believe, are the ears. Yeah, they are. They are the rotation bit around the ears. I'm going to leave these 2 together and bring them in here. They aren't too important, so I don't mind scaling them down. Perfect, so that's a left. That must be an ear then, just to make sure. Yeah, that is an ear, and it is the ear that goes onto this side. Which means this will be the ear for the other side. What's this? There's the squares at the end, so again, these matter even less, so I'm just going to dump those on there. Should just be the toes we need to do now. So that's a right to right, left, and that means this one should be right. Perfect. So I should now organize these toes just in order. How have I managed this? Literally, how have I managed this? Okay, this is a right, left, no, yeah, okay, and that one's on the wrong side. This one goes over here. Okay. Remembering my right to left is apparently the big puzzle. And this one, and then this one. Again, I'm going to try and close up the gap a little. They're not particularly high quality toes, so it's just a case of moving them out the way, and I don't mind scaling them down, but I want to scale them both down the same, so I will keep them here for now. Let's do this one. Okay. I apologise, this is probably going to be one of my longer videos. So this will be this side, dump this over here, and this side, dump this one down here. So bring everything back. I think everything is now in its own sections, which means now it is time to try and see if we can make it slightly better. So if I can move this up here, and ideally I want to make the head bigger. So any extra space that I can get to move the head is worth it. And this is very close to the edge. So move this over. This can come down a little, I think. This is an ear. I'll put that down here. Hey, down here. And if I can move this one up here, I can probably scale this up, and it'll probably actually make it easier to fit the this bit in. Oh, that's a close fit. So we could scale this up as big as I can, really. Scale this up a little bit more too. Move it this way if I need to. Now just make sure there's nothing overlapping. I can select these two. If I can manage to select it, there we go. Move these out here out the other way. These eye pieces, we can just go back in here. Now I'm just going to go over and make sure that there's nowhere in particular that's standing out as an issue. And I don't think there is. I think we now have a full texture set. Yes, we do. I can actually move this slightly over this way just to give a little bit more room on the side. And this one, if I actually move it down, I can move this one over here as well. Just a little bit. This really can't move over much more, so I'll leave that one. This one could move this way a little, which will give this a little bit more room. Just because I don't want it to be cutting too close to it, because there's obviously going to be times where the texture might bleed over, just those tiny amounts. Now, because this is under the chin, I'm actually going to see if I can size this up a bit. And because I can, I'm going to size this one up a bit as well, just because we have the space to. We want to use as much of the texture space as possible, but without having things too odd. I think that will probably do us. So I apologise, this is one of the longest videos I think I've ever done for this particular series. But this will now act as our texture paint tool, and we should now be able, just to quickly test, I'm going to have to actually shading. I will show you how to do this. The next one we're just going to test now. It works. It should also work if we turn on the mirror. Here, symmetry, X mirror, and it does. Perfect. So our texture works, and you can see it appearing on the other side in real time. That we are going to be able to texture this character perfectly fine now. Perfect. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope this was useful and I didn't bore you to death. But you get used to doing this, and it gets a lot quicker when you as you get used to it. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.